Welcome to the Life of Hair. My name's James Atkinson. Thank you for joining me in this week's episode. This week's episode is all about correcting and helping to correct people's bleaches, especially when we go back to work and our clients have been playing hairdresser at home, fixing their own hair. Now, I know a lot of you out there who watch my videos are not hairdressers and have been having some reasonable success following the tips and tricks that I share with you on the internet. However, I know that that's not going to be the case for everyone, unfortunately. So there's definitely going to be some people out there who have taken it to the extreme, I'm sure. This particular episode is not too bad. There's a short regrowth that's easy to deal with, but then there's a large band in the hair that definitely needs tackling, and it's definitely very different from the ends of the hair. So I'm going to show you what I do to go about that and the things that I think about more than anything. The actual application of this technique is not technical or difficult, but what goes on in that 6 inches of grey matter when I'm dealing with what is a tricky bleaching situation. I made a video a while ago that I'll link at the end of this video about when the bleach went wrong, and I had to sort of correct it as I was going through the process, had to wash it off, and some of you may have seen it, but I won't go on about it. You can go and watch it. And I had to think really fast on my feet. I had to really make sure that I was on the case all the time and thinking about how I could save the situation. This is no different. This is no different. You know, this is just in a different scenario. I was always thinking that there's a lot of complications involved in this particular technique and getting it right. So I'm going to talk to you about my mindset and the things that were going through my mind as I was doing it and I was engrossed in the job, so that when you're doing these type of techniques, when your clients have had to go at their own hair at home, you'll be able to say to yourself, okay, cool, where am I at with this technique? And you might have like a tip or a trick that I gave you just to fall back on should you need it. So hopefully that's going to be the case today. I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody who supports the channel. I say it every time, I know, and I sound like a bit of a broken record, but I genuinely mean that. So many things are happening in the background of the Life of Hair. Lots of balls going up in the air at the moment, and it's time to try and make that into an actual show rather than just throwing a load of balls in the air and deciding which ones to juggle. So I'm so excited. I can't tell you how excited I am for all the things that are happening in the background as we speak. But the things that you guys are doing to help me along the way mean so much to me. Patreon subscribers, people hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like, watch the videos, all those things all help this channel grow. You know, watching the video for the entire length of the video, those things all boost the backside of YouTube, the algorithm. You know, hitting that like button, subscribing, commenting, everything elevates the channel to higher places, and that gives me more opportunity to help you, which is exactly what I want to be doing with my time, helping you grow your businesses, raising your profiles as a hairdresser, and effectively earning more money. So have a wonderful week, and if you enjoy this episode, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below, and I do everything I can to get back to each and every one of you every single week. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you all again very, very soon for another episode of The Life of Hair. And this is what we are dealing with. We have got 1 centimetre of very dark level 5 regrowth. We have got 2.5, 3, maybe 3.5 inches of a very underlifted bleach, and we want to bring it all back into line. So the first things I'm going to do is touch up the regrowth. Now the reason I'm going to touch up the regrowth is because it is much darker than the band. I always start in the back when I do my bleaches. This is to ensure that I get nice even coverage, and I can rinse the back out should I wish. Obviously, if we start in the front, it's going to be very difficult to rinse the front off without interfering with the back. I highly recommend this whenever using any bleach products. Start in the back. Once I've done the back, I then simply work my way through the front sections, just ensuring that I've got even saturation on the root area, painting both sides of each section, making sure each section is no more than a few millimeters in thickness. 5 millimeters would be the absolute maximum width section I would take each time I apply a fresh amount of bleach. It is really, really important that we recognise painting a bleach is a super technical skill and one that requires an awful lot of concentration. We've applied the root area here and we are going to allow it to process for around 20 minutes before we go back in and deal with our root area. Just so you know, the first root application was with Redken Powerlift and 20 volume. I know a lot of you are going to ask me in the comment section what bleach am I using, so there you have it. This second application over the band is again Redken Powerlift and 20 volume. There is no 10 volume in Redken Powerlift, so I couldn't drop down my peroxide, hence why I'm using 20 volume. What I will say is though, when we are reapplying to previously bleached hair, we shouldn't really aim for having it on the hair too much longer than 20 minutes. This is because the hair is in a fragile state already and we have a lot of things to think about. Using a product that is gentle to the hair, like the product that I'm using, with a bonder additive inside is super important when it comes to doing a bleach session like this one. I am being careful with my application not to overlap the previously very lightened hair. And again, I'm painting both sides of each section to ensure maximum saturation and an even, consistent result. As I'm painting through my sections, I'm continuously monitoring the quality of the hair that I have just bleached. It is important that we do not become lapse and switch off when we're doing such technical and treacherous colour corrections like this one, because things can go wrong quite quickly, as you may have seen from the other video that I alluded to in the intro. You have to be watching all the time. You don't necessarily know what was used to bleach their hair previously. You can do a strand test to ensure that the quality of the hair is good enough for you to bleach, but equally that doesn't give you the full picture every single time. That just gives you some assurances that the job is achievable. I highly recommend when you're working in the salon, guys, that you do consultations prior to all your appointments, especially when it is a colour correction job. This gives you the time that is needed to thoroughly assess the hair prior to doing it, and then you're not rushing on the day or accidentally undercharging because you're doing multiple services that you hadn't accounted for in the initial consultation. Just using the back of my hand on each of these sections to ensure the saturation is pressed through the hair on the first application. The back of your hand is a fantastic bleaching tool. However, do make sure that you wipe your hands every now and again so that you don't end up with too much bleach on the back of your hands and it ends up all over the hair. Again, working with no more than a 5mm section as I work through this technique. It is really important with bleach that you get even, consistent saturation throughout, and that you ensure that that saturation is the same from where you painted first of all onto the scalp all the way through to where you finish. This will give you the best possible results when using bleach. This isn't the most technical application you'll ever see me do. I can totally appreciate that. But some of the things that are going through my mind right now are, is the back still okay? Is the condition okay? Do I need to take that back off, rinse it, and go back to doing the front? I'm continuously monitoring the situation to ensure that I get a consistent, even result with as little damage to the hair as possible. And here we have the finished result, a lovely, even, blonde result. There is still a little bit of warmth in this hair, but you know what? I would have that every day of the week rather than compromise the condition. We can go back and bleach this hair again at another point. But if we break the hair and we create too much damage, then we are really, really snookered in the future. Always, always think about the condition before the result. Have a lovely week. If you've enjoyed this, then please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already, and chat to me down in the comments. Tell me what you thought of this technique. I would love to hear it.